Hey there, it's the Machine of Nonsense, episode 97, and it's spooky season, so we're doing another Massacre of Nonsense episode. We're playing a spooky game. It's not that spooky, it's just a game about spooky stuff. We're going to get a conversation going on what everyone's favorite spooky stuff is of all time, as well as the stuff we've really enjoyed this year or we're looking forward to in regards to horror. We're calling it the State of Horror episode. I'm your host, Eric, joined as always by Kayla.
Hey, hey.
And we've got Aaron on the pod today.
Hello.
Spooky as ever. And Mike.
Hello.
Not spooky enough, you know, just not spooky enough. So on the script, I called it a pop quiz, so I'm doing it pop quiz style, guys. Aaron, what's your favorite horror movie?
It's a movie called Butterfly Kisses, probably.
I remember you talking about that. Very nice.
Like, I don't know, I think there's others that are better written, better made, probably better acted for sure, because it's an indie movie, but I rewatch it like every couple of months, so I just love it.
Hey, I dig it. How about you, Mike? What's your favorite scary movie?
Hereditary for me. Just love it. Toni Collette in that movie is like just everything I want from like this weird cursed family, like just being on the edge of insanity, like not knowing what is happening, like finding out about her mother's like weird shit and everything in that, and the dinner table scene in that is just like grade A stuff. I wish she was at least nominated that year for Best Actress. She totally deserved it, and love that one.
She was without a doubt the best part of that movie.
Yeah,
she was fantastic.
You know, I got season tickets for Ari Aster after that one. I love Midsommar as well, and excited. He's got something coming out. I forget what it's called or what like the code name for it is or whatever. But I'm excited.
Post Samar, I think. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Kayla, how about you? Favorite scary movie? Is it Urban Legend?
It is.
Hey!
It's a nostalgic pick for me. It's just like
Jared Leto.
I know. I told that to Eric the other day. I was like, it's weird that like my favorite scary movie has Jared fucking Leto in it. I hate that fact about it, but it is what it is. It's just such a nostalgic pick for me. I just feel like we rented the hell out of this movie and watched it a lot.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. I think that's the thing. Like most horror movies are, not the best movies out there. They're but like they're just fun, if you latch onto one, then boom. There's an argument for this movie really being in the horror genre. But Aliens would be mine. More on the action, the first couple sections are really very scary, and then it becomes an action movie, and okay, then if that doesn't count, then the first Alien, then that's fine. But I think I just dig Aliens a little bit slightly more in when it comes to the two movies, and so there's some scary shit. It's very scary throughout Aliens, despite a lot of shooty bang bang and killy marine. Aaron, I know video games, spooky video games aren't necessarily your go-to, but do you have a favorite scary video game?
I think the only ones I've ever finished are like the first 3 Resident Evils and
those are good ones.
And the Quarry. After that, I think you guys were there for when I tried to do Dead Space, and that didn't work out.
That was so good. That was so good.
I mean, I like them. I've watched quite a few. Like, there's like a YouTube channel that does like full playthroughs of them. So I've watched a few, and I like that. I just can't play them. It stresses me out. So I guess I'll say I like Resident Evil 2. I'll say Resident Evil 2.
Oh yeah, that remake is fantastic.
Yeah, I played that too.
The original's really good. I played the original on N64, my first go through.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think I've ever played the PlayStation version. They like the better version or the definitive version of it. But yeah,
I played it on PlayStation. I played it with my grandpa, and he used to get real mad because I'd be like, I can't get out of this part. Can you come help me? And he would come, and I'd have like one bullet left, and there'd be a horde behind me, and he would be so pissed. He's like, "What am I supposed to do?" I'm like, "I don't know. You said you were good at these. I don't. Just help me with this." And we'd spend hours until like 3 a.m. on a school night, and we'd get it eventually.
Nice.
I'm in that same situation with Greg in Breath of the Wild. He'll have nothing. He'll have no arrows, no swords. Like, beat this boss. Like, I can't do this. I can't.
Yeah, some might say the item degradation in Breath of the Wild sucks.
Yeah, that's the worst part of the game by far.
I disagree.
Some might say. Mike,
I'm loaded. By the way,
your favorite.
I'm stacked. I have so much stuff.
Your favorite horror game? Yeah.
I mean, I have to stay in the same series. I got to go RE4. It's
makes sense.
My favorite. It's one of my favorite games. Period. I'm so excited for the remake.
Do you think the remake will replace the part where he's like, the president's daughter has been kidnapped? Like, do you think they come up with a better storyline than bad dudes? Like, are you a bad enough dude to save the president? Like, that's the feel of that game.
It seems like they're going to add maybe a prologue kind of thing where you play as Ashley, maybe getting kidnapped or something, or like her running away from like something that sets it up more than just I'm in a car with some Spanish officers
who are very upset with you for existing.
Yeah.
Isn't there another piece of the puzzle too? Like, wasn't the show following like one of the shows, the earlier show, not the Lance Reddick one, but the other one followed Leon, like getting told he like goes in to meet the White House with other badasses to get
Was
picked.
that the animated one?
Yeah, I think you're right, Kayla. I think it's the animated.
It looks so good.
One.
That's why I remember being like, "Wow, this shit looks like a real person."
Oh wow!
But they had like different parts, right? Like some of it was like very top-down video gamey, but some of it cinematographic.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
I'm very
a good
excited
one.
for the remake, but I'm also very nervous about the remake because I don't know. I just want 4.
It did great.
Like it just feels so good to me. Like
Mm.
I feel like I have that game mastered in a way, and that's like the horror games I like. I like being able to feel amazingly powerful at some point. Like
Right.
You got all your tricks, throw this out, do this.
All of these big things, like
Some might call Resident Evil 4 the aliens of horror games.
I would.
It certainly is, but there's definitely some of the scariest moments in the series are in that game. I will argue that it is the perfect blend of the action and the horror, and I mean, something like Dead Space 2 is like kind of almost its equal, but almost in a way. I could have said that one as well. I love that one too.
Yeah. Would have been a great choice too. I'm really excited for that remake. I want a definitive edition. I'm in the camp of RE4 like not holding up as much as things. I feel like it needs a remake in the same vein of 2 and 3. And I think they're going to do a great job. And I think it's like that story and everything else, that location is great. And Leon as a protagonist and stuff. Like I think it's going to be great.
It's going to feel really weird if like the old pipe isn't hidden in the same tree or something for me. Like, cause I know where all that shit is in that game. Like, so.
Well, they're going to have to change that if they want a fresh experience. So, I mean, I'm sure there's going to be some throwbacks and Easter eggs, but they're not just going to give you the same game with better graphics.
Come on, Aaron. Like,
you've got to explore, but as long as they make the exploring part enjoyable.
Mike just wants better faces, but on the same game, just like Photoshop some faces out of those people.
I think what it looks like so far is fucking great. I can't wait for the the game to actually just because that game kind of always looks like it's in daytime, even when it's like night in a way. Like just having a more naturally lit, like believable, like spooky Spanish woods and stuff like that, and castle and shit. Like fuck yeah, I think it's perfect for a remake, and it's hopefully going to be amazing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, that game has such a rabid fan base that like you kind of can't shy too much away from the major hits. You shouldn't. I don't think you should. Like it's a great game, and I think they need to keep it pretty close to what it was. Like,
and I think it's a game that has some, they can trim some shit off of it, of course, and I think they will. And I hope they expand on things too. I don't know. I hope it's perfect. All right. If it's not, then
that's not too much to ask.
An F for me.
Right.
Like, I don't know. Understand the assignment. Damn it.
Kayla, are you sticking with the Resident Evil?
No, but I'm sure you guys can all guess my favorite horror movie.
Horror game.
Or game. I don't know, you were took the words right out of the mouth for film. I feel like my game is also very obvious.
The Last of Us.
No.
Is it? No? Okay. Man,
I'd like to change my answers to The Last of Us. I forgot I played the game. I like it better than Resident Evil 2.
Is it BioShock, Kayla?
Yeah, yes.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
that makes
my
sense.
next guess too.
I beat all
That's
those
a great
too.
pick. Great pick.
Yeah.
I really like BioShock. I don't
Another
know
game where you just feel so fucking powerful as a
Feels so cool. You got all these plasmids just fucking
I like how
wrecking shit.
everything.
I just love the like world of like you're underground. People have gone fucking mad. There's no rules here. Shit is nuts. And it's just spooky. Big daddies.
Man, Mr. B.
That shit is like literally like I'm gonna go over here and just sit here for a minute and just I don't know, calm down, hide for a sec. Okay, here we go.
So, Aaron, you're changing yours to BioShock now or Last of Us?
No, Last of Us. BioShock, I played those. Weirdly enough, I really like Infinite, and a lot of people hate that one, but that's also not.
Eric loves it.
It's the least scary one, but I like it. I thought it was fun.
It's number 5 on.
I think I think that's like the Midsommar to like kind of.
I hate
BioShocks.
Midsommar.
Just the way it's.
I don't want to get on a rant, but Midsommar,
spooky in
I
the daytime.
expected so much from, and then we saw it, and it's just a bunch of sounds, which already kind of set me off, and then a really, really obvious story. Like that
Damn,
was Midsommar
Aaron.
for me.
I was always interested in watching Midsommar, but I got a thing with sounds too, and I don't know if I want to watch it now.
They try to set you off. Like there's some movies, and some do it really well, where they create a feeling of being uneasy by like the music and background noises. But every single character is constantly making weird ass noises. Like in Hereditary, I could take tongue clicking. It got to me, but I could take it. But like in this, it's every single character is groaning or screeching or so. Like they spend the last half of the movie just fucking wailing at the top of their lungs. So like there's too much of that in that movie.
But Kayla, what if I told you Florence Pugh was making a large amount of those sounds?
Make any of the sounds. Fair enough. Fair enough.
She's making a good amount of those sounds.
I'm into it. That sounds good to me.
Eric, I
She's
think I
got
know
big
what you're
lungs. I know it.
Yeah, it's boring. It's The Last of Us. It's my favorite game of all time. It just so happens to be a horror-tinged game. So, like, I think, that's one where everyone could have guessed.
You didn't go with the content. PT.
Yeah, PT. Yeah.
I'm going to change mine to watching Eric play PT on my birthday. It was like the best gift ever because he was like shitting his pants like playing PT.
I will say, PT, that experience, the one you're talking about, was the scariest time I've ever been around people, because I've watched a lot of scary stuff on my own or played scary stuff on my own and been quite scared, whatever else, and there's a certain thing to that, but like being in a room full of people and still kind of being scared, not able to just laugh it off. Hey, PT, you did a thing.
You wouldn't do it.
PT will forever live on my heart in that way.
That's how I am with every horror game. I can't do stuff. Like when I first started playing that I said it before, Dead Space. And like I just walk in the room, I saw something move, the light went out, I'm like, okay, I'm done with this game. I don't They should leave the lights on. I should be able to see. I should be able to see what's happening. It's not fair.
You have a light on your gun.
Oh yeah, that makes it worse. I'd rather not see than just see a little bit of it.
Yeah, so Last of Us is mine. With a hat tip to PT, I guess. I don't think about PT very often. Shows. I found this one a little bit more tough. Do you have a favorite horror television series at all, Aaron?
I don't know. There's not too many of them. I'm trying to think of there's the name of this one I just watched. It wasn't that long ago. I have to try to figure it out. But it's like a slow creep, like indie made show. It was pretty cool. But I don't know. I don't want to think like maybe Stranger Things, if you want to count that, because that's
sure.
That's in the vein. I really do like Stranger Things. I don't like the horror aspect because the show it kind of left that behind. But
I thought this season really tried to go back to that.
Yeah, the whole season was just a Freddy Krueger feel. They even got.
I thought it was pretty good.
Robert Englund. No, it was good. It was good. I just wasn't scary.
Some might call it the Goonies of horror TV shows. I think.
Well,
I think that's
I really enjoy the Goonies. I mean, they were always going for that feel anyway. Like they had the kids watch like Stand by Me and other buddy movies like that, and so just so they help their acting. So I could see that. But yeah, I guess I would say Stranger Things, like because there are other shows I like, but I really do love Stranger Things.
Yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with that pick at all. Especially after this most recent season. Maybe we'll talk about that a little bit. But
I know we're going to talk about it, but I watched Midnight Club, and maybe that would have had a chance, but no, it's not. It's not as good.
Mike, speaking of Midnight,
take me to Crockett Island, baby.
Yeah, I figured it would be Midnight Mass, right? Yeah. He knows Crockett Island like the back of his hand. Everyone, he knows it.
I love Midnight Mass. It's so good.
Quite a good show.
Just a classic. Aren't we the monster? All along.
Right, but there were literal monsters, man.
But how quickly I don't know.
I would say that's like that exact point is why Barbarian was so good. Like, sorry.
Oh no, it's fine. I look on VOD every day to see.
Not out yet, huh?
Available.
Must still be doing good in theaters, I guess. Huh.
Everything I've seen, it's supposed to be heading to HBO Max.
Oh, really? Oh, that's awesome. I'd watch it again.
Yeah, I want to watch it again.
Hell yeah.
I bet there was setup I missed, so I'm
can't wait to see it.
Hell yeah. Kayla, this is how's this one for you? Best TV show horror.
The first thing that came to mind was Stranger Things, and I agree with everything that Aaron said. I really, of course, liked the spooky stuff, 1 and 2. I see how they tried to bring it in this current season or the latest season, but it's just one of those things that can't really compare with the first two, But so then I decided Castlevania because I was
going to say, I think that counts for sure.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah, I didn't even really put that one out there. That's good.
Or sticking with vampires, I would also pick True Blood. Even though I didn't watch the last 2 seasons. The books are good.
I only watched the first season, and you know what? It's not bad all up until the point where the whole way they figure out the plot of everything is they find how to speak Cajun and some other shit in a toolbox. That's how you figure it out. It's so silly.
Yeah.
The books are good.
Are they? I never read those. I saw the show.
You just finished, right, Kayla? Like all of them?
Yeah.
Yeah,
a little while ago.
Murdered them. Ran through them.
Do they get everybody's a special creature in the books as they do in the show?
Yeah, but there's people who are in the show who aren't in the book and vice versa. There's lots of stuff in the show that is not the books at all. It's a lot of Sookie and Bill and Eric and Sucky Fucky.
Yeah.
Oh, the category you
It's a
guys
little
did the
intense.
best
I'm,
on.
blush and gotta turn it down.
That's good. I'm gonna go with the horror episodes of the X-Files. For mine, I grew up on the X-Files. Really enjoyed those. I don't know if it holds up. I tried to rewatch it when it was on, I think, Netflix a little while back, and I thought it held up pretty well, aside from the technology. They had a lot of oh, we're gonna go to the computer guys, and it was just this, Apple II or something that they were doing shit on. Yeah, it was real hacker man shit. But aside from that, if you can get be okay with that, or the giant cell phones that they had and stuff like that. The plots of especially the more horror tinged episodes were really spooky, and they really pushed the envelope for something that was just on Fox at 8 p.m. or whatever it was on, so yeah, really dug the X-Files, and then Fringe did a really good job after that, same kind of setup and everything else, went a little more into the sci-fi aspect than the horror aspect, but there were definitely lots of episodes that were oh, this is straight out of the X-Files, but in the early aughts kind of situation. So yeah, Fringe / the X-Files for me. How about we play a game?
Let's go.
All right.
So,
Jigsaw, Eric.
Yes, indeed. Want to play a game? So I took the list of the top grossing movies on Box Office Mojo for 2022. Took the top 100 of them. 20 of them, you could argue, are at least horror adjacent. Some of them are straight up horror movies, or quite a few are straight up horror movies, actually. And I would say 3 of them, you could argue, are at least horror adjacent. What I'd like to do is go in a roundabout fashion with you guys. And I just want you to name what you think is on this list. If you get it right, you stay in the game. If you get it wrong or cannot answer, you lose. Simple as that. You got 20 here. I'm going to randomize your names as... There we go.
So we're guessing highly rated movies, horror movies, maybe horror adjacent movies, mostly.
That were released this year and did well in the box office. Not necessarily that they did well critically.
Jesus.
But there are 20 that did at least that are in the top 100 grossing films of 2022. Horror still does well at the box office, so
I'm glad I asked, because I was like, Jaws.
No. Sorry, released in 2022. If I didn't say that, these are all 2022 movies that did well. They are in the top 100 of films released in the box office here. Some of these were, a couple of them were simultaneously released in streaming as well, but they did well enough at the box office to place in the top 100. So randomly, your names go like so: Kayla, Aaron, Mike. So Kayla will start, then Aaron, then Mike, then back to Kayla. We won't snake in this one, and we'll see how you guys go. So Kayla, what do you think? A horror movie that's in the top 100 grossing movies this year.
Prey.
Prey is not on the list.
What?
Oh, that was gonna be my
It's
guess.
100% certified fresh.
I think a lot of people just watched it on Hulu. It just didn't do well in the box
by
office.
The rules then.
I watched
Box office.
Well,
I thought you were
also-
picking stuff that did well at the box office, but then we were okay. I don't know.
Box office, just strict box office.
Box office.
Did we understand the rule? Okay, Okay.
Back.
It's all right. It's
No,
all
no,
right.
we'll back it up. We'll back it up. Prey is off. Prey did not do well at the box office, apparently, unfortunately. It may not have been released to theaters. I don't know. It may not have.
Very little theatrical, like
That's
in New York, in LA.
Honestly, I watched it and I'm like, this would have been really good in a movie theater.
Yeah.
Oh, it would have been
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yes.
And I think it would have done well, I think. I think if they released it right now, it might do well with how well it did on Hulu. That being said, let's start it now. Kayla, guess away.
I'm gonna guess a movie.
Good. Good.
Barbarian had to do well, right?
Barbarian did very well.
Right, and it's not out yet, so it's still in theaters. Check.
Barbarian is currently the 33rd best grossing film of 2022 with $34 million and some change. Aaron, you get to go second.
Nope.
Nope did very well, the 11th highest grossing film of 2022 with $123 million and some change. Mike, you're next.
Was that the top horror one? Yeah.
Depends on your definition.
Oh.
Box office, man.
I hope it did very well. I'm gonna go with Bodies.
Bodies did the 51st best box office of the year at $11.5 million.
That's not
Kayla,
enough. That movie
it's not
should have
enough.
done very well.
It's not enough. Kayla, you're next.
Black Phone.
The Black Phone, 19th on the list with almost just under 90 million. It may have even crossed that by the time I collected this data a couple days ago. So, 19th for The Black Phone with almost $90 million. Aaron?
Men
is 66th on the top 100 with just over $7 million, a travesty.
That movie should have made $7 million.
I
think I like that movie, but
I read The Thing, and it honestly, a movie about women's experience written by a man just doesn't seem that good.
Well, no. It's problematic, let's say. But
Right here, the one on the podcast, it doesn't work. There's parts of it that do, but you could just cut out a whole part and it would be better. That's my only thing. It's a little too.
Oh man.
Did you guys see The Watcher? I mean, it came out around the same time.
That's my answer. That's my answer.
Oh, okay, The Watcher.
No, I'm kidding.
That's actually going to be my next answer. Whatever. It came out at the same time. Pretty sure it's written by women, and it has a lot of stuff that women deal with when they deal with issues such as stalking or whatever, where people don't believe her, they minimize it, and she ends up having to handle it herself. It's a really good movie. You should see that one. And it's got the girl from It Follows.
I don't like her.
You don't like her?
No. I'm not an It Follows fan.
Oh no, I don't really like the movie It Follows. I think she's a really good actor.
It Follows good.
But,
Whose turn is it?
It's Mike's.
It's mine. I'm gonna go with X. Gonna give it to ya.
I was like, the fuck? What was DMX in? No. 50. 50 for X. With
I got 50 and 51. Look at me.
Yeah, you did actually. Yeah. 11, just over $11.5 million for X. Did pretty well for a.
What the hell is X? I don't even know what this
That
is.
should have done so much better.
It's the prequel to Pearl. Or the sequel to Pearl, I guess, actually.
It's the actual one.
I remember now.
Pearl is the prequel.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Well,
Excited to see Pearl at some point.
You're up next, Kayla.
Well, Pearl came out, right? It already is out.
Yeah, it's out right now.
I'm going to say Pearl.
Hey, Pearl is the 60th highest grossing already. I think only in its first week in theaters. With just over 8 million. I would say just under 8.5 million, actually. 60th highest grossing for Pearl. On to Aaron. It's getting harder.
I'm going to say Scream.
Very good guess. That's the 21st highest grossing horror film with just under $82 million.
I'm just trying to think of all the movies I've seen in the theater this year, and I see mostly just horror movies, so...
You did a good job. You kept this theatrical economy going single-handedly. Mike, what you got?
Jackass 4 counts, right? No.
There were some horrific things in Jackass 4. Yes.
No, man, Scream was going to be my guess. I'm gonna have to just steal that Watcher one. I'm gonna have to guess the Watcher.
The Watcher did not do anything.
Yeah.
I think it was a Netflix release, right?
Oh, was it? Okay.
I saw it in theater.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Pretty sure.
Well, yeah, didn't do numbers, unfortunately.
Darn.
But it comes highly recommended not only by you, Aaron. I looked that one up a little bit, and I said, this looks.
It's really
pretty
good.
Cool.
It's really good. There's a lot of movies that come out for Watcher.
All right,
Called
let's
Watcher.
back it up. Let's start over. I didn't understand.
Kayla,
am I eliminated?
You're super eliminated. You're like super eliminated.
It's a bummer. No.
Unless both Kayla and Aaron fail, then actually you'd be safe. So let's see, because we have to have some winner.
Damn. I don't think Don't Worry, Darling did well, but I'm gonna say it.
Don't Worry, Darling did quite well. 31st on the list of highest grossing films. This one's adjacent, I would say, in a sci-fi horror or something like that. 34
This horror
and a
as
half.
Nope is shit.
I'll give you that. I would say so. Yeah. So Don't Worry, Darling with just under 34.5 million. 31st highest grossing horror film of 2022. Aaron.
Did The Orphan release in theaters? I'm gonna say The Orphan.
Do you mean Orphan First Kill?
Yeah. I just saw it, but I think I watched it at home.
Orphan First Kill was the 72nd highest grossing film of 2022, with just under $5.5 million. People, I guess, weren't watching it on Peacock or whatever it came to streaming.
I watched it on.
Kayla, back to you.
Damn, already? We do skip Mike? For real?
He lost. He died.
I didn't know that it was like a dead. I just thought he wouldn't get points.
No, he needs to go kill himself.
Fuck.
Oh no.
Watch Blonde.
Unless you don't want one, you don't have one, Mike can take your turn.
I go with Blonde.
Oh God. Ugh. Why is Brad Pitt even attached to that? I don't want to get into Blonde. I don't.
Watched half of it.
Did you? I was thinking about watching it, and then I read the description, and there's some shocking things that happen. I'm like, oh, did that happen in real life? No.
No, it's based on a fictionalized book.
I'm pretty sure a Halloween movie came out. Like, is it not out yet? I don't think it's come out yet.
I think it's coming.
Yeah.
They kind of rely on actual Halloween to release.
Is that your guess? The pre-release numbers for Halloween Ends, Kayla?
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, the pre-purchase tickets. No, Halloween Ends hasn't hit the box office yet. Do you have one, Aaron, to become the champ?
The Texas Chainsaw remake.
Oh man, no, you've all failed.
Oh.
You've all failed. Anyone can steal. Mike, do any of you have a guess to become the champion here?
I'm sure it's gonna be something I'm gonna feel stupid for not guessing, but no, I can't.
A lot of people were really scared when they watched Turning Red.
It's pretty good.
That's pretty Nancy boys.
All right, so I'm the champion of this game, but I'll give you the rest of the list here. Smile has done very well.
I just saw that. Why didn't I say it? I literally just saw it 2 days ago.
36th on the list with $30 million. 37 on the list is The Invitation with $24 million. Your favorite, Mike, Firestarter did 56th on the list of highest grossing with $9.5 million.
That's such a bad movie.
The Cursed, a movie that I am not familiar with, was 76th on the list with $4.5 million.
I don't know.
R.I.P. Taylor Hawkins, Studio 666 did 92nd highest grossing with $2.5 million. Mike, your other favorite movie of the year, Crimes of the Future, did $2.5 million. It was 93rd.
That's
A
not
movie,
horror.
adjacent.
Yeah.
Uma, 98th, with $2.1 million. This is a Korean horror movie, follows a Korean family.
It sort of is. I mean, it's like Sandra Oh, right? So like, it's not
Right.
actually a Korean movie. It's just,
Right.
I thought that was her. I've seen that cover. Okay.
It's not a bad movie. It's just kind of boring. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Oh, my favorite.
And here's the really adjacent movies here. Number 2 this year was Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness with $411 million. Did quite well. There's definitely horror elements of that movie.
Sure.
It's Morbin time. Morbius was 22nd with $74 million.
Jared Leto. Come in. He can't stay out of it.
Yes,
the urban
indeed.
legend himself.
The urban legend himself, in multiple ways, like 35th, more of a thriller, but Beast, starring Idris Elba, at 32 million, just under 32 million.
I love Idris Elba, but not even he can make me go see that movie.
It
looks so bad.
He brought some people to the theaters.
Some Peacock.
35th, highest grossing. So yeah, that was the game. Let's get on to the current state of horror. And everything we've been really enjoying this year, maybe what we haven't been enjoying. What do we think, just overall, of 2022? I just named like 20 movies that did quite well at the box office. We've had a lot of releases come straight to Hulu or straight to Netflix, etc. What do we think of 2022 as a horror year overall? Aaron, I mean, you're probably the biggest horror fan, the one who watches the most horror out of all of us. What do you think of 2022? What you've seen?
It's really good. Like, I spent a lot of time watching like the indie movies on Tubi and Shudder and all that, and they've been pretty good. Obviously, horror movies are never going to be considered good by like pretentious standards people put on like other movies. Like nobody's like, oh, I bet they're talking about the war in France here. Like I don't. But there's just a lot of fun movies, and I think that there's actually like a move in the opposite direction where well-made movies are being like less pretentious, where you see that with like X and other horror movies that are just kind of more fun than like just downright trying to, like, it's not the Babadook over and over again.
So you're saying X is not about the war in France? That's
not,
currently happening right now?
Not yet. We're getting there. It might kick it off. I see some, like, I thought we didn't expect Smile to be very good, and it was actually very good.
Really?
Like,
man, that trailer really just turned me off on that one.
Yeah, it just didn't look good. Like, we went into it, and Megan thought it was going to be this campy, cheesy thing, and it's really not. Like, it's just like so much of it delves into like the idea of like trauma passing from people and what comes out of witnessing trauma. It's really good. I thought it was going to be, you see something, and then everywhere you go, you're going to see people smiling at you. But really, there's like 5 people who do that weird smile.
They did one of the coolest viral marketing things I've ever seen. Because it's my two of my favorite things, baseball and scary stuff. They had 2 like actors go to front row tickets to a Dodgers game and a Mets game, and they just stared at the camera and smiled. And they got picked up on the camera and stuff.
That's
and
really cool.
Ushers actually came to one of them and like told him just fucking stop, and they had to tell them like,
you can keep smiling at the camera, man.
You can't be happy at these baseball games. Yeah. This shit is really long and boring.
They did it for like five innings or something. It was pretty cool.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's intense.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a pretty good movie. And then like I've seen it, like I saw The Watcher and stuff, and there's been a lot of really cool indie movies. I've been meaning to watch Deadstream, which is a new found footage kind of indie-ish movie. Pray for the Devil comes out this year, and that looks awesome. I think it's a pretty good year for horror. And then Scream, like how long people have been waiting for Scream? How long people have been waiting for an end to? I doubt this will actually be the end of Halloween, but it's probably gonna be the end of Jamie Lee Curtis's involvement.
They're gonna pass the torch.
Did you guys watch the movies that made us, the Halloween one, where they're just like, oh, her mom was in Psycho, we'll let her be in this movie, and that's why she's in it. It's pretty
Built
cool.
a whole career off of it. Good on her. How about you, Kayla? What about 2022 in horror? We've actually seen quite a bit. I know it's not your favorite genre or anything, but
it's not. But I have to say, I've been pleasantly surprised. Like going in to see Barbarian, like I knew we were gonna see it. I knew it looked cool and interesting, but I was uncomfortable going into it. Just like, fuck, I'm gonna hide. This is gonna be intense. And it was just enjoyable. Like, I was into it. So I like that. We've been going back and watching the Scream movies, trying to... I've never watched any of them, I don't think. And so it is interesting to just go back and look at, like, 90s and 2000s horror movies. But I think the Screams are really interesting. I enjoy them compared to, like, what I remember of, like, Freddy Krueger or Jason or Halloween. Like, none of those really get me into it.
Yeah, I mean, well, Scream's like more nuanced, I guess. Like when I was a kid, I'm like, oh, cool. It's that like I missed out on so much of the story of like Billy's mom and all that stuff. I'm like, okay, stuff's happening, but whatever. But you rewatch it, it's actually like there's more involved. Whereas if you watch Freddy Krueger, any of the Jason Voorhees movies or Hellraiser, it's just violence. There's no real like any story is just accidental and.
Yeah, how about you, Mike? What are you thinking of 2022 in horror?
Man, it's been a bomb-ass year. Like, just consistently throughout the year. Like, I didn't even think of, like, Doctor Strange, but for sure, like, I remember seeing that and, like, thinking there was some pretty effective horror moments in that. And, yeah, Scream, X, Bodies, like, and, like, a variety of different horror stuff, too. We're getting slashers. We're getting more, like, psychological kind of stuff. Of course, and man, it's just been really good. I wished Hellraiser was better. I don't know if we could talk about that now.
Definitely.
I really didn't jive with that. I don't think I like Hellraiser after.
No, I don't think
that. Like
I don't think I liked the original Hellraisers that much.
Yeah,
like the whole idea of like sadism is going to be lost on. I think I was like 10 when I first saw Hellraiser. Anyway, but like it's just. I don't know, there's no real like, oh, you found this box and now we're just gonna hurt people. Like that's the story for all of them, and it's just not very good.
No.
How about the character design and stuff like that? How did that? Was that any good? Any good practical effects or anything?
And the new one was pretty cool, like because it shows how like they've been tortured and stuff, and their faces all like splayed out. That was kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah, there's definitely some good kills, but. Just the character motivations, there's just none of that there that makes like it worth it. It's a 2-hour movie too. It's so fucking long.
The main character's really unlikable.
Yeah, there's like just nothing to grab onto really, other than just if you're into just watching these shitty people get fucked with, like I guess. The ending is really, I don't know, ambiguous, I guess. I don't know. What would you like? I wasn't really sure what it meant.
They want to make more. It looks like it's ended. If it didn't do well and they can't make more, then they can act like that was their plan. But it looks like they're just trying to make more because that's how the other ones are. It's like, oh, you think you stopped it? Nope. Like I kind of like it's coming back for sequels. Get ready for 8 of them.
I thought they could have done more with the Cenobites, maybe like. Right. At the end of the day, they're all just kind of like they can wrap you up and stuff. They can really trap you real easy. Like I don't know.
To be honest, like
kind of boring.
They spend most of their time just talking. Like
a lot of talking.
Maybe that's the real torture is being so fucking bored by them talking about how you're gonna be in pain.
Yeah.
Like that's the conversation. Like you're gonna be in pain. Well, I don't want it. Get ready. Like that's the gist of the movie. Like
yeah. There's a lot of the new Pinhead just just going off, like just trying to monologue about, shit, and something about the voice, and it just doesn't work for me. It just like, nah, the original Pinhead kind of has this presence, at least, like where when he's talking about, pain for pleasure shit, you're like, oh, okay, all right. And this one, it just comes off as kind of corny and lame for me.
Because they're not even going. I don't know if they're trying to avoid like demonizing the BDSM community, because they're trying to like not say pain for pleasure, but it's all like pain, so you can get to a higher form of being and experience more pain. Like it's pretty much all they say the whole movie.
But isn't that life, Aaron? Isn't that just life?
Finding
the war in France, man. This is what I'm talking about. They're trying to be really pretentious, and they're not.
Oh,
right.
It's my best French thing.
There's some French cheese. It's awful. Baguettes.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I could do without another Hellraiser ever.
Yeah, I feel like I wasn't like Scream. I feel like people have been talking about that for a while, but I don't feel like anybody was like, you know what we need? More Hellraiser, because there's already a bunch of Hellraisers and none of them were that good.
There were a lot of Hellraisers. When I was looking up like my Jeopardy game, the Legally Distinct quiz show game in our last episode, a lot of Hellraisers came up. A lot of Hellraisers. But let's talk about good stuff. We've said 2022 is a good year for horror. Do we have a favorite? Do we each have like a favorite so far? It might be stepping on the naughties a little bit, but primer for that. Kayla, what was maybe your favorite horror adjacent thing this year?
Movies?
Well, honestly, it could be anything. If there was a show or a game that you preferred.
I enjoyed The Quarry.
Hell yeah, good pick. Good pick. Aaron, I know you thoroughly enjoyed the Quarry. We might be playing some of that pretty soon as well. But what was your favorite kind of horror thing this year?
I was really hoping it was going to be Midnight Club, but it really wasn't. Mr. Harrigan's Phone was pretty good. Honestly, probably Black Phone. I loved it when I saw it. It's just so good.
Really good.
So I would say Black Phone.
It's a good one. Some might say it's like the 30th best movie or something this year or whatever it was. Mike, how about you? Favorite horror thing?
Does Prey count?
I would count Prey.
Prey.
Yeah, it was the first overall pick in our our box office mojo draft just a minute ago. So.
It should have cracked something, but man, love Prey. But if not Prey, it's got to be Bodies for me. I really liked it. Just the energy of it, the filmmaking, like kept me like. It's not really scary. It's just like, what's going on? Like, it really just keeps you kind of confused.
You can see where they're scared. Like, it sets the mood.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. And so I'll go with Bodies as my favorite, because I honestly don't think Prey is a spooky, but
yeah, it's spooky element. I think like in the similar vein. I'm leaning towards Immortality. There's like scenes in it that are incredibly spooky and incredibly like upsetting and like off-putting and stuff. I remember like the first time, there's some meta shit in it where you're like addressed, you as a player, and like that can be really effective and spooky. But Barbarian also, as just a more down the line pick. Barbarian was just a really, really good like horror movie. And just
can't wait.
A lot of fun, just really, really good. I think if you watch that movie and you didn't have a good time, I think that you're silly, And I think you can have it a good time with that one for a lot of different reasons. There's some really like funny stuff in there. There's some really like tense, obviously like horror tinge stuff, and then there's also just like expectation shattering stuff, I guess. Like I think Kayla and I both said we went into that movie thinking it was one thing and it's something else. So it just really cool.
That kind of happens. Like it feels like every like 20 minutes into that movie, it's like, okay, well, that's not going to happen. This is going to happen. Well, that's not going to happen. This is going to happen. And you just get to feel. And like, such a good part of that movie is the setup because like the dialogue, there's never like groups of people talking. It's always one or two people interacting with each other, just about. And the dialogue between any paired off group of people is just so good in that movie.
Yeah.
Between everybody, every part's so well done. So.
Yeah, I agree, and it falls under that. Like the trailer didn't spoil it, which is great. Like it, we were afraid, that.
Honestly, I thought the trailer did, but it turned out to be like a completely different movie than what the trailer showed. It's so cool.
Yeah, that's I think that's the highest like compliment that I can kind of pay it. Is like I was hooked because of the trailer, and then like that's a part of it. The trailer's a part of it, but it's not what the movie is. So it's cool. Let's not spoil it for Mike at all, though. I think we already said a lot.
Mike, you're ready. We're gonna outline the whole thing for you.
Yeah. Cool. So Justin Long is in this movie, and no,
I would say Severance counts, kind of.
Ooh, yeah. Oh yeah.
The horror genre. There's some really real moments in that are like, just like if I keep thinking like if I was in that situation, like if I was up against that character, like what would I do? Like, man, it's like some really gnarly stuff in Severance.
I'll never look at break rooms the same way.
Right. And Staircase, I thought, has some really just horror elements in it. Just the way it frames that fucking staircase. And the staircase is like a character. It'll just show it all the time. Like, just cut to it, and you'll know, like, oh fuck, what are they gonna do with? And then shit happens with the staircase.
And the ass eating, like they just had to. That's pretty scary. Just had to work that in there.
Oh boy.
Hey man, White Lotus, Staircase, it's all. Eating the booty over there at HBO. All right, they're fine with that.
Man, I'm kind of afraid for The Last of Us now. Oh no.
Oh man. Ill.
Clicker in your booty. Oh no. Oh boy. Let's talk some upcoming horror. Maybe there'll be more booty stuff in the upcoming horror stuff.
Better be.
I came up with just a real not exhaustive list of things that I'm kind of interested upcoming. We've talked about some of these because they're coming out like in October, so we did it in our October. But some of this is just coming up throughout the rest of the year. So we've got Scorn, A Plague Tale, Requiem, the Dark Pictures Anthology, The Devil in Me, Resident Evil Village, the Winter's Expansion DLC, and the Callisto Protocol, all in the video game kind of realm. For TV, we've got Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities. And then in the movie genre, there's also a TV series called The Watcher, but I think it's different than the one that you were talking about.
I think this is like a true like. It's about you ever hear about that? People who keep getting those letters in their mailbox, like saying like, I'm watching you, you better move out. You have this many people, like they're clearly stalking them. It's about that.
Well, I heard about it when I watched the trailer for this television program, and I was real interested. It looks pretty cool.
It's a true story that I personally think is probably a hoax, but.
And then in movies, we got Bones and All, Halloween Ends, The Menu, and VHS 99. I wanted to highlight Bones and All. I wasn't really aware of this one until doing a little research. This is a Chalamet and Taylor Russell, who I'm not familiar with, but it's like two young runaways, Chalamet being one of them, who get into cannibalism. And everything that comes with that. It looks like Chalamet. Remember his character in what was that End of the World movie we watched, Kayla, that I kind of dug last year?
Oh,
with like everyone. Don't Look Up. Yeah. So it looks like his character's the same as the one he played in Don't Look Up. It's interesting. I want to see Chalamet as like this dirtbag and also a cannibal, probably, like, or definitely.
Did you see the trailer for it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, because so like they're like physiologically different. Like they're some kind of like predator people. So like that's why they like he finds her, he like smells her and stuff. It looks really cool. I'm so excited. All the trailers I saw recently, that's what I'm most excited for, probably.
Yeah, it looks really interesting. It looks really cool. Anything else that either was listed here or that you've come across, Kayla, that you're interested in at all?
I have mixed feelings about the menu. I want to see a Plague Tale, though. That's probably what I'm excited about the most.
Yeah, that'll be soon. That's coming to Game Pass. Real excited. We talked a lot about that one already. But rats. You know, we've had bodies, and now we're getting rats. How about you, Mike?
I hope Scorn is good. That's coming to Game Pass soon. Looks like more of a heavier on the puzzle aspect than the kind of combat aspect in that one, and could be cool. I don't know how long I could stick around in that world because it does look pretty brutal. Hopefully it's just kind of like a 6-hour kind of thing or something. I hope it's not too long. But
yeah, I heard it was a smaller experience.
I think I would like it more if it did have more action. I mean, with the stuff I've seen is very much like just being there.
Avoiding stuff, trapping stuff. Like that's not really the horror stuff that I like. I like being Isaac Clarke and stomping shit and fucking cutting limbs off of stuff. I like that. But
you get to put your limbs in stuff in Scorn.
Oh,
so, yeah.
God.
If Scorn doesn't give me that, I'm definitely going to be getting that with Callisto Protocol in December. And I was thinking, like, man, it hasn't really been a big year for spooky games, but we're getting an onslaught of them coming up, and then early in the 2023 with fucking Dead Space and RE4, like the two greatest fucking horror games ever made. Like, I don't know.
And I would call Elden Ring horror.
Yeah, it can be.
It's got horror environments.
Kayla, there's some spooky, them fucking T-Rex dogs and the giant crows.
I mean, any Dark Souls game has at least a twinge of horror, just like the...
Sure.
Because at least me, I should speak for myself, like, I'm constantly afraid in those games. Like, I'm constantly, like, feeling like, oh, the next thing could kill me and I could lose my progress and that kind of thing. In a way that, like, horror games are, also like that, so...
Good point.
Yeah, what do you think? We've yet to play Cult of the Lamb. How horrific is Cult of the Lamb, Mike?
It just got that kind of culty Cthulhu kind of stuff mixed in. Kind of how Binding. I think one of you described it in Binding of Isaac kind of ways. Like it's Satanism, but with a taste of
cute.
yeah, and the cute kind of outweighs the horror for sure. I think in Cult of the Lamb, horror adjacent.
Gotcha.
You guys thought Stray was kind of
post-apocalyptic is always kind of an horror genre, but they don't look at it from all the humans are dead position. More as they're trying to set up a reason why they're robots. Honestly.
Yeah, that game just has such a light kind of tone to it. There's always music kind of playing, like upbeat kind of stuff. Even like the thing that you're supposed to be afraid of in that game is like just these little like popcorn kernels that are chasing you. It's not very scary.
I was always just like really afraid. I guess in a similar way to like Elden Ring, like I was just afraid for my character. Like I was afraid for the cat and stuff. And when you do get kind of swarmed by those little things, and I never felt, like you mentioned, feeling in like a Dead Space or in like a Resident Evil 4 or something, feeling like capable, super capable or whatever else. A lot of Stray, I didn't feel very capable. So that I think that's why I put it kind of on there. It's adjacent for me.
Okay.
Definitely on the lower rung of that. I love that Kayla you called out The Quarry. I think it's one of the better horror games of the last 10 years. I don't know. Like I think it did everything that like Until Dawn did and just like kind of refined it a little bit. I think those are two games like that are, well, obviously they're very similar for obvious reasons, but yeah, I think the Quarry was a really good one. If you can get over the weird facial stuff, there's a lot of weird.
It does have weird facial stuff.
I wanted to ask Aaron about the VHS movies. Have you checked a lot of those out, or?
Yeah, I'm not. So I'm not into gore porn movies.
Sure.
And the
Oh, is that what
VHS
those are?
movies, the VHS movies are a lot of short horror stories where people are like, "Oh, we're gonna film ourselves breaking into this house and killing everybody inside," kind of things. And while they're not all like super gory, they're all some level of gross and badly acted. And I know like I'm in a few different communities, both for horror movies in general and found footage specifically, because I love those kind of movies. But it's just, and they all love it. Like they all talk about VHS like it's the best series made, and it's just, I watched the first two and I'm like, I don't get why anybody likes this.
Yeah.
I haven't watched Siren, which is a spin-off. But I don't get how anybody likes it. It's literally just, and it's long. It's like 2 hours or more of just a bunch of these short little groups of people killing things. Like it's not great. I don't get why people like them so much.
Yeah, see, I
Maybe-
really enjoyed the first one, and then I stopped like midway through the second one. I didn't really enjoy that, and I know there's several adjacent like other ones too. But I did like the first one, and I like the idea of VHS 99, just in the fact that it's found footage from that time period. I'm
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for like.
Well, you
Oh,
can't
and-
find a VHS from 2015. So.
Right, exactly. So it just makes more sense and everything else. And but yeah, I was wondering how you felt. Some of those did get really gory, but I remember one of them was like the motel room, like kind of like I know that the murder happened in like the motel room and stuff. I just found that really effective, just like the stalking aspect and like just
Yeah,
like
I mean, there's some of those little stories that are good. Which actually, you'll run into this with the Midnight Club, because so much of that show is just people telling individual stories. But like they're telling the stories, and they go for this like hit or miss approach, where it's like, well, there's going to be a fan of this kind of story here, or this one, and you got to kind of like sit through like 6 episodes, we'll say, of horror you don't enjoy to see one that kind of spooks you, and then you're thrown back into horror you don't enjoy.
right.
It just seems like they were trying to please everybody, and then once it got big, they're like, well, we got to be more intense about this. And I haven't seen past the second one. I know there are other ones, and I'm sure it ramps up more. I'm hoping with the amount of because it was originally relatively unknown, I guess, for a long time, if you weren't like into indie horror movies or whatever. Like, because it's like they're not releasing all these in like theaters.
Right.
But I'm hoping with it being like a bigger thing, they may try to please a more mainstream crowd and be less gross. But who knows?
Probably not.
Nah,
I think you're probably right. I did want to ask you on the Midnight Club. I know they're like framing devices, like these kids with like terminal illnesses and stuff like that are like telling these stories. How well is that done? Is that any good, like that aspect of it?
So the first half of it's really good. I guess I don't like where the story goes. I don't ruin it for you, since it just came out Friday.
Yeah.
So we're watching it. We liked it for the most part, but so these kids are all in a hospice. Like, it's not even just they're sick. They're in a hospice. They're going to die. None of them even look sick. None of them act sick. Like, one of them's got AIDS or something. He just has a little bump on his arm. Like, the end stage of AIDS is a horrible way to die, and he just has a little bump on his arm. None of them are like bedridden. Like, it's a hospice with one doctor and one nurse, and they almost never do anything medically related. It's like a lot of it's like unbelievable. If you get past that, the characters are all very good. Almost all of the characters are so well done and so well acted, even especially by like young actors. It's just the story's overall kind of lacking.
Yeah.
But it's not a bad show. It just wasn't as I from the previews, I thought I was gonna love it. I never read the books, but I thought it was going to be great, and it was just kind of okay.
You heard it here first. Aaron wants kids to be more sick.
Well, like there's people with advanced intestinal cancer, and they never have any medical issues, and like all these kids every single night get up and drink alcohol, which has to interfere with their medications at midnight. Like they're all just at midnight drinking alcohol and then like just going about like they're up and out of bed and living their life every day. Like
this is my favorite take I've ever heard from you, Aaron. I want these kids to shit their brains out. They shit peaches.
That phony Flanagan. Get the fuck out.
Oh, I love it. This is my favorite thing.
I think he was a little. I think he should have taken the idea for the story and went a different direction. But I think this is one where they stuck too closely to the source material. I think he could have done so much and made it so scary, and he kind of hamstrung himself by hitching his wagon to this thing.
Yeah. Hey, 3 out of 4 ain't bad. Flanagan's got a good track record at this point. That's cool. Anything else, guys, before we get out of here, before we have one last segment I think we're going to get to, but anything else for the year in horror 2022, anything upcoming we want to talk about, anything at all?
Pray for the Devil looks awesome. There's not much to say about it. It just looks really cool.
It's like an exorcism type movie.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It looks like it's like a little twist on it. Like it looks scary. Most of these exorcists, like possession movies, aren't good because it's just focused on the one person, and then that one person's trying to like shock you, pea soup, all that. But this actually looks like scary. Like stuff happens around where she is, and it looks good. I'm really excited. It looks scary.
I've seen a billion of those exorcism movies, and I've always enjoyed them well enough. It's just like
right. They're always okay, but like it's never scary. Like The Last Exorcism, which is a found footage movie, is actually really good. But for the most part, and I like the remake of The Exorcist. I know a lot of people hated that, but I actually like that one. But yeah, I'm pretty excited for that. There's a bunch of stuff in like 2023, which is weird for like I feel like if you're making a horror movie, release it in the October time. I don't know why you'd wait for like January or February of the next year.
Spooky movies at other times. Valentine's Day can be spooky. The dead winter where it's dark and there's no sunlight, and
I guess that is spooky.
It's depressing. That shit is scary, okay? Don't put me in winter.
But like Megan's coming out, Shelby Oaks, and there's a couple other ones that I'm pretty excited for, but they're all coming out 2023 or I don't know. I don't think A Violent Christmas is supposed to be scary, but I think that looks pretty cool. Or Violent Night or whatever.
It's the David Harbour one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I have heard of that.
We're supposed to get an Alien show at some point, I think, in 2023 as well. Who knows?
Cool.
That could get pushed back or whatever, but I think that's a Hulu
Garland
joint.
one?
I don't know if Garland's still attached, or I don't know, how
Judy Garland's
that's
still
all
making
going.
movies.
Yeah, Judy Garland. Spoiler, she's the alien.
Is anyone going to check out that Village DLC? Is anyone excited for that?
I should.
Yeah, I would like to. I don't know if I still have like Village installed, or I don't remember how we got that one. What did we get that on Xbox? Or it's been so long. It's been so long.
That's one of the ones I watched, the 100% playthrough of. And that's where it's my point of a lot of games. Like it's hard to go back if you play a game when it first comes out. It's hard to go back and be like, all right, I'm gonna play the whole game just to get this DLC. Especially in a linear game like that. Like, how do you? Is it like a separate thing, or is it something that adds to the story? Or okay,
it's like 16 years in the future.
Oh, okay, I can see going back for something like that. But
you play as the baby.
The third person aspect is what's really interesting to me, I think, in that one.
Man, I wish they'd pick a fucking lane. Saying this shit.
They've done good. They've done good in both. I've enjoyed both. I don't know.
But you can't have the same game in both lanes. This ain't Bethesda. This ain't Skyrim.
Wait, are you saying there's a first person version of Skyrim? That's weird.
There most definitely is.
Huh. Weird.
That's the definitive edition.
That sounds terrible. Oh. Oh, you mean when you're bow hunting in Skyrim? I go into first person in that. Yeah.
No, you don't. Fucking liar. But I will not be playing the Village DLC. Not interested.
I'll watch it on YouTube.
Oh, it's pretty good. Anything else for you, Kayla? You going out to see Halloween Ends without me?
Definitely not.
Evil dies.
I am interested to see where Scream goes. I liked the first. We've watched 1, 2, and 3. I know this is not new Scream, but there is a new Scream that came out this year. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, it was the 21st highest grossing film of this year or something.
Right. Just good. Making it clear.
They've got another.
So we're gonna get there.
It's been developed now, so.
I was gonna say if you hadn't played the Quarry already, the David Arquette's face is the scariest thing of this year, and it's scary in both Scream and the Quarry.
Lance Hendrickson in Scream 3 and the Quarry as well. So, boom. Getting the whole cast. A good note. I think this is a good segue to like what we've been up to. We can end on what we've been up to. And Kayla mentioned we're going back and watching all the Screams because we want to have episode 99 of this podcast. We want to be a retrospective on Scream. So we want to rewatch all of them and have a nice conversation on Scream. But in watching Scream 3, there's a subplot, and this will be spoilers for a movie that came out in 2000, I think, folks. But Lance Hendrickson is a like famous movie producer who does like a whole casting couch thing or whatever else. Famous like horror movie producer, and this is a Miramax film. Which is famously the production company of Harvey Weinstein. So motherfucker just put himself in this movie, and whoa, that was watching that 22-year-old movie and kind of realizing that. I think Kayla like caught that. She's like, this is a Harvey Weinstein thing, right? And I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
It was just so nuts.
Like, Harvey, this doesn't fit with the movie. Put me in there.
It was quite the revelation.
Jerry O'Connell is in 2. O'Donnell or whatever. He's in 2. Okay.
2. Those movies have a stacked like if you go back and just like take those movies, they have like Liev Schreiber and like you said, Jerry O'Connell, Joshua Jackson's in like one scene in the second one. But yeah, Lance Hendrickson, obviously the main cast of, David Arquette and Courtney Cox and everyone else, Nev Campbell and stuff. They do some fun stuff where this is kind of stepping on the retrospective, but they do a lot of fun cameos. Let's stick with that.
Preview.
Yes, indeed. Fucking Miramax. Let's go around. We normally save this for the beginning, but I thought we should save it for the end because now we can talk about non-horror shit we've been checking out lately. Start us off, Mike. Anything non-horror that you've been checking out, you've really been digging lately?
Been playing Overwatch 2. I didn't put a ton of time in Overwatch 1, so this game kind of feels like a new game to me, even though I guess it doesn't offer a lot of new stuff to those Overwatch 1 players, but I'm really digging it. I kind of like how the characters kind of get doled out over time. They don't give you all the characters at once. It kind of forced me to pick somebody new and, get good with them, and which I enjoyed. Myra, what's up? Myra players out there? Moira, whatever her name is.
Mm.
So yeah, I've been playing that. Still playing through Breath of the Wild as well. Getting caught up on Res Dogs. That season just wrapped up. I'm on episode 8, I think. I think there's 10 episodes. That's been very good so far on the Hulu. Man, tried to watch Final Destination 2 last night.
Okay. Is Harvey in that one? Or
is who what?
Harvey Weinstein, is he in there?
No, it's just like, man, and that brings me to a kind of a point about horror where I checked out with horror, like that 13 Ghosts, Final Destination era, Ghost
I love
Ship.
13
I know all
Ghosts.
you people love that shit out there, but for me, that's when horror was just like, just so bad. And Final Destination 2 is laughably awful acting, awful script, just so bad. And I feel like 90% of the horror movies at that time were like that, and have a tough time going back to those ones. For every The Ring, there's like 18 fucking
Yeah.
soul survivors or something like that. Like,
I'm not going to stand for this Ghost Ship slander. I found Mudvayne through Ghost Ship, so that was a very formative time in my life, Mike.
That's the worst thing that ever happened to you.
yeah.
They spell it with a Y.
Like it was meant to be spelled, Aaron. Like it was.
I think 13 Ghosts isn't bad. Matthew Lillard's pretty great, and I think most things. So I like
That was my final Jeopardy question on final legally distinct quiz show game question last week.
So 13 Ghosts is okay. I think it could have been a lot more. You know, they had a lot of cool backstory for the 13 Ghosts, but they focused on like 2 of them. But
Yeah. Naked Lady. Ooh.
Mike's favorite one.
It's actually a remake of a 1960 movie, which is wild.
Yeah, that
I
era
do
was
that.
a ton of that, like House on Haunted Hill. A lot of remakes that you wouldn't even know were kind of remakes unless you're
House of Wax. Yeah.
When I was a kid, I watched House on Haunted Hill all the time. I've never seen the remake,
Oh,
but
wow.
I used to watch the original all the time. I don't know why I loved it so much.
Wow.
It's not even that scary. Even when I was a kid and I was watching it, I used to like that one a lot.
Like the one with like Vincent Price or whatever?
Yeah, my mom had it on. It's either VHS or DVD. I can't remember about one. But
Laser.
Laser, yeah. But it's actually not bad. It's pretty good if you're into old horror movies.
Kayla, I think we talked off mic in our last episode. It wasn't part of the episode, but
You guys aren't allowed to do that.
you're an official. Well, I think we were talking with Tony and everything. I think you were
so
there,
today-
Mike. I'm pretty sure you were there. I just didn't record it. But
If you guys are just home
yeah,
talking to
we're
each other, you don't
witnesses.
gotta call it off mic.
you're a Pokemaniac now.
Yeah, I'm in it. That's all we did on vacation. We just played Pokemon. It was a good time. It's been a little while since we've played it though, and I'm in that hard time right now where I want to play Cult of the Lamb. I want to play something spooky for spooky season. I don't know if I want to rush it, you know? We kind of talk about it, like, do we just barrel through the main story to be done, to move on? But I want to
Which
catch
game?
more Pokemon.
Which Pokemon game is this?
Even trying to barrel through that
Arceus.
motherfucker, it takes
Oh yeah.
some time. Because there was a point in Arceus where I was just like, all right, let's get through this.
Yeah.
And it digs its heels in. It's like, like, nah, you're gonna have to like find the Triforce fucking
That's what-
18 times.
Interesting.
I told.
Guess we haven't
that's
gotten
something, I think Arceus has got too much hand holding. I think the game would flow a lot better if they didn't do that. I guess they probably are taking into account young players that need to learn how to do stuff, but I get frustrating.
It's been a
but
really
it's-
good onboarding for me and Kayla because I haven't played a game since Sapphire. And
Well,
Kayla's hasn't played since like Red
Red.
Blue, right? Yeah.
Played a little bit.
The games
Although-
haven't changed that much.
No.
Arceus, the mechanics aren't really the same though, because you got to catch multiples, and
It's fun.
that part's
Fun.
different. Yeah.
I did
Other than that, though,
Everything.
we've watched Hocus Pocus.
the
did.
new one, or
Yep.
was it good?
Hocus Pocus 2. Yeah, it's all right. I mean, it's not the original, but it's cute. It's good. I like it. It had a
I felt
little
the
too
same.
much Sarah Jessica Parker leg for me, but all right, fine.
Like just her leg? What was,
Yes.
what was the
off the
rest
leg.
of her?
Yeah, she gets delegatated at one point. I don't know what the word is for when you lose a leg, but she
Is this
doesn't.
it's
That's
a
a lie.
prequel to A Christmas Story. She's the lamp.
Holy shit, that'd be dope. That'd be real cool, but it's not. It doesn't
Nightmare
happen.
Before Christmas now.
Oh yeah, Sally loses her legs all the time, right?
Yep. Leg lamp.
I've enjoyed
Anyways, that got weird.
watching. Yes, it did. When you've caught Inventing Anna too. I
I've
thought
been
that
watching
was pretty cool.
Inventing Anna. I think she got released from prison today, by the way.
Oh, shit.
This weekend or something. The real Anna Sorokin.
Mazel tov.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't
I
realize
think
that.
guys were talking about Inventing the Abbots at first. But that's not a good movie.
Abbott Elementary.
God, this is going places, guys. This is going places. We didn't mention it, but I guess it is horror adjacent, or maybe it's straight up horror. I don't know how you felt about it, Kayla, but Werewolf by Night. We checked that one out too.
How was it?
Too short for me.
Oh.
It's only like 50
Like an hour.
minutes.
Just an hour.
Yeah. I wanted more.
Under.
I wanted more.
Ooh.
That's
It's
what
fun.
I would say.
I want to check that out.
Yeah, I was thinking about watching it tonight. So
I'd recommend
it's
it.
just an hour. Easy watch.
Yeah, I'd like to have a maybe a more in-depth conversation actually once you guys do check it out. But that's my like one line take is like, only 50 minutes, huh? Okay. But
maybe more stuff should be like that. If they know there's a clock on it, they can stop drawing everything out.
yeah, I think and I think a lot of people are liking that aspect of it. Like people are saying that that's a positive. It's not, overstaying its welcome and things of that nature. It definitely gets right into it. It is like it's that monster hunt, like right away. But yeah,
Like I know I keep bringing it up, but like Midnight Club, it's 10 episodes, 10 1-hour episodes. Because these kids meet up and they tell stories, and sometimes when they tell their story, it's an entire episode of telling a story, like just a ghost story they're telling. Like it doesn't actually add to the overall story. It's just a ghost story they're telling. So like this show where the main story could probably be told in 4 episodes is 10 episodes long.
I'm gonna make the joke for you, Mike. They'll eventually release the dub edition, which is gonna be shorter, right? Yeah.
Man.
Oh yeah.
Just my brain was just dub edition.
I knew.
The gears
I
were
saw
turning.
it. I saw it in there.
The light behind your eyes.
Oh. Good stuff.
It takes my brain a second every time Midnight Club comes up. I don't know what we're talking about. I think we're talking about PS2.
You know, every single time I start to say Midnight Club, I have to mentally tell myself not to say Midnight Mass.
I could see that happening too. It is
So, like-
weirdly close in titles for. I guess he did that with his first 2 shows, Haunting of this, Haunting of that. So
Dig it.
excited for the next 2 shows that are some very similar names.
The Haunting of Mass. Yeah, that's gonna be the next
Ooh.
one.
The Haunting of Haunting.
I'd watch it.
The Haunting Club of Midnight Mass.
I told
Okay.
Kayla we could make Legends Arceus scary. Will just like capture like Ghastlies and Haunters and Gengars and stuff, and it'll still fit.
You go look for those the fire lights at nighttime.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
I think that game can be kind of spooky when you got a big ass fucking Rapidash just chasing you. and shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like, I just started this game. Leave me alone. That's a game I think.
Full panicked moments.
Oh yeah.
I think some DLC I would play on that game. I'm surprised they already haven't added to it, like more areas or something.
They're in
Like,
such a weird spot because they want people to buy another fucking Pokemon game in a month.
Yeah,
so.
that's true. Because like I caught every Pokemon. I did every single thing. Like I completed the Pokédex, everything. So like I think I would, like, if they release another area with other Pokemon, I'd probably go and I'd play some more.
Go to the drawing board and make a new Arceus, whatever that subgenre of Pokemon game is,
Right.
and really make it open, not zones, none of that shit. Find a way to make some kind of progression, keep the areas locked somehow, but not. There's so much backtracking in that game, so much loading back and forth in between these areas, and I'd much rather it just be one big world, other than just these
that'd be
hubs
nice.
everywhere.
Yeah, if they figure out a way to do pacing, that'd be pretty cool. Like, I mean, if they scale the enemies, like if you can't fight anything, then, but
It's such a silly thing. I think I mentioned it also kind of off mic last time. Just like the Pokemon Company, like Game Freak, Nintendo, everyone involved is like one of the richest video game fucking publishers out there. Like, come on, put a little money behind this. You could make the perfect game very easily. Like, Arceus is close, but like with a couple extra bucks, would have really been able to blow that one out, and done something special.
I mean, yeah, it looks like a DS game. Like, still, like,
Right.
like,
Well, and
it
then
would be
even
nice
if
it
they,
looked good, yeah,
it's like they wanted to work in the Pokemon Go mechanics.
yeah.
And they probably could have just left that out. Like, I don't, like, they could have made it like what Pokemon would be like in the real world, and like really focused on like the realism of that, of like how you have to do it, maybe even the morality of it, because it's kind of fucked up.
No,
But they no, it's just they're like, oh well, people want something different. We'll just mix these two things we already have and call it different.
I think the mix is good, but it could just be so much better.
Yeah, absolutely, it could be better, but it's just. I thought Poliwrath would be better. That was a big problem for me.
Damn, that's what it really boils down to.
Yeah.
Well, folks, I've got a Pokemon Go to the restroom, so are we cool to wrap up episode 97 of the Machine of Nonsense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep going into spooky season.
Keep going into spooky season. I agree. So we've got 2 more spooky episodes this month in October after this one. I've mentioned the Scream retrospective, but our next episode 98, we're playing Boo. And that's all I'm giving you guys. That's it. That's a little teaser for episode 98. We're playing a game. It's going to be spooky themed. That's all you get. You can join the conversation, as always, a bunch of different ways, guys. We've got an email, machineofnonsense@gmail.com. We've got a voicemail, anchor.fm/machineofnonsense. We're on Facebook, our Monstars fan group. Real active lately. Thank you to everyone who's been posting about the Mario movie. We got our first trailer for that. A lot of conversations around that, and the Last of Us trailer as well. Got a lot of fun conversation. Keep up the good work, guys. Keep up the good work.
Man, we forgot to bring up the Mario trailer. God damn.
Well, it's not that spooky, you know.
We should go few seconds by few seconds. Break it all down.
Yeah, and I'll just piss my pants. That's what we'll do. I think that's
Right.
I think that's a good idea.
The movie looks great. I was right to be so excited for it these last 30 years.
It does look like a lot of fun. I think we could break it down on the next episode of the Machine of Nonsense, because episode 97 is hitting the bricks. That's what people say, right? It's getting out of here. So
Taking
are
it to the
we.
streets.
It's taken to the streets. Yeah, we're gonna get sued
Wall
now.
Street.
All right, guys, we're
Already
getting
said.
out of here, and we're saying goodbye.
Bye.
Exit.
Oh, well, I gotta piss.
Exit.
Oh yeah, I get it. Yep.